Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to embark on a really captivating journey together. We'll be exploring a profound idea that connects your daily life, your friendships, and your own mind directly to the very fabric of the cosmos itself. It's a concept called perspectivism. And honestly, it just might completely change the way you see everything around you.
So imagine you're looking up at the night sky. The stars you see, the constellations they make, well, that depends entirely on where you happen to be standing on Earth, right? This seemingly simple idea that what you see depends completely on where you're looking from actually holds the key to how we understand reality itself. So it begs the question, can two people look at the exact same universe but see completely different things? Let's find out. Section 1, Seeing Through Others' Eyes. Let's start our journey close to home, right inside your own mind, and look at how you interact with the people around you every single day. Think about when you look at a friend's face. You instantly recognize different emotions, right? A smile, a frown, maybe a look of surprise. Recognizing these emotions is the absolute foundation of empathy. It's really the first major clue we get that other people have their own rich, complex inner worlds that are completely separate from ours. And as we grow up, our brains actually level up in how we understand these inner worlds. Researchers at the University of Nevada have mapped out how we learn to step into another person's shoes. Between ages 7 and 12, we become self-reflective. We start imagining how a friend might actually be feeling. Then, right around ages 10 to 15, which is probably right where a lot of you are sitting right now, we develop a third-party perspective. We start to see how an outside observer might view a situation. Finally, as we reach 14 and head into adulthood, we begin to understand that whole societies, with all their unwritten rules and values, are actively shaping our beliefs. So, the really crucial takeaway here is that mastering these stages of perspective taking gives us basically real-world superpowers. By learning to see through others' eyes, we not only become way better at making friends and solving problems, but we actually start to care much more deeply about how others experience the world. It helps us resolve conflicts fairly and builds genuine emotional intelligence.
Moving on to Section 2, The Many-Sided Truth.
Now, let's zoom out from our daily lives for a second and travel back in time to ancient India, where early philosophers were asking some of the biggest possible questions about existence. Thousands of years ago, ancient Jaina thinkers realized something brilliant. They understood that reality is just incredibly complex. They called this idea Anikantavada, which basically means that reality has multiple facets. Think of it kind of like a beautifully cut diamond. Because of this massive complexity, any absolute truth we try to claim is really just a truth from our own particular framework and focus. There's no single side of a diamond that represents the whole diamond, right?
To express this beautifully complex idea, they developed a really unique system called Syadwada. It's a 7-valued logic. In this system, every statement about truth begins with the phrase, in some respects, or perhaps. Just by adding in some respects to our thoughts, these ancient philosophers proved that no single statement can ever capture the complete, absolute truth. It is such a powerful reminder for us to just stay humble and stay curious.
And even more amazingly, these ancient Indian ideas connect directly to our modern world. When we map ancient concepts from texts called the Upanishads onto modern quantum physics, the parallels are literally stunning. Thousands of years ago, these thinkers linked our observing consciousness directly to the fundamental energy fields of the universe. They recognized way before modern microscopes were ever invented that the simple act of observing reality actually plays a role in shaping it. It's an incredible idea that today's quantum physicists refer to as the observer effect.
Section 3, No Single Absolute View.
As we zoom out even further and travel into European philosophy, we hit a really fascinating roadblock. Back in the 19th century, the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche completely shook up how we think about truth. He flat out rejected what he called a God's eye view. That's the illusion that you can somehow look at the universe objectively from nowhere in particular. Instead, Nietzsche claimed that what we call truth is always tied to whoever is observing it. Our knowledge is permanently anchored to our human perspective. To brilliantly illustrate Nietzsche's point, just think about a frog sitting in a pond. To that frog, reality is made up of lily pads, buzzing flies, and little ripples in the water. Now, imagine a towering giant standing over that exact same landscape. To the giant, the pond is just a tiny little puddle in a vast, sprawling forest. They're in the exact same place, but they have strikingly different perspectives, and therefore completely different truths about what reality actually is.
Later thinkers echoed this beautiful idea. They pointed out that what's in the foreground for you, what feels loud and clear and totally obvious, might be completely hidden in the background for someone else. And here's the kicker. This doesn't mean one of you is wrong. It means that every single viewpoint is uniquely valuable, and we actually need multiple viewpoints to even begin to get a better picture of the whole.
Section 4. Science, Space, and Maps.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, but surely modern science gives us the absolute objective truth, right? I mean, science is all about cold, hard facts. Well, let's zoom out to the very edges of scientific inquiry to find out. Imagine looking through a crystal ball and seeing how it flips and dramatically distorts the building behind it. A modern philosopher named Ronald Gier uses visual metaphors exactly like this to explain a concept called scientific perspectivism. You see, even in hard sciences like physics and biology, human beings are still the ones looking through the microscope or peering into the telescope. Think of it this way. Our scientific models are incredibly useful, but they're kind of like maps. A map of your city is super helpful precisely because it leaves out the trees and the individual houses to just show you the roads you need. Maps are heavily influenced by our human interests. They capture selected aspects of reality from a very specific angle, but they are never the absolute, complete whole. Science is a magnificent, powerful tool, but it is fundamentally guided and limited by our human viewpoint.
Section 5. Questions for your journey. We have traveled pretty far today, from the psychology of empathy firing inside your brain to the ancient wisdom of the Upanishads and Jain philosophy, all the way to the scientific maps that help us navigate our universe. And this grand zoom-out journey shows us something truly vital. Demanding that there is only one absolute truth, that usually just causes conflict, anger, and a lot of misunderstanding. But by actively embracing many perspectives, by accepting that truth has many sides, we build incredible emotional intelligence. We become better friends, sharper thinkers, and we cultivate a deep, lasting sense of wonder about the universe.
As we bring this explainer to a close, I want you to just sit with a few thoughts for a moment. Think about a recent disagreement you had. Maybe it was with a friend, a sibling, or a parent. If you pause and realize that your truth in that moment is really just one piece of a much larger puzzle, just the frog's view or the giant's view, how might adopting a completely different angle change the way you handle that conflict next time? And finally, as you continue to grow, learn, and discover exactly who you are, how can you use this incredible quiet power of perspective taking? The universe is vast, and it is beautifully multifaceted. What new books, new people, or totally wild new ideas can you explore to step out of your own shoes, better understand yourself, and find your own unique, wonderful place in the cosmos? Thank you so much for taking this journey of perspective with me today.